I'm ordering the mandatory closure of all non-essential workplaces in the province of Ontario. This order will be effective Tuesday, March 24th at 11:59 p.m. for 14 days. The next 36 hours will give non-essential businesses the chance to adapt and prepare. Tomorrow, we will release the list of businesses that are permitted to stay open. We're prepared to extend this order if necessary. This was a very, very tough decision, but it is the right decision. This is not the time for half measures. This decision was not made lightly, and the gravity of this order does not escape me. But as I've said from day one, we will and we must take all steps necessary to slow the spread of COVID-19. The health and safety of every Ontarian must come first. And that's why we're taking these important steps. It means food will remain on the shelves. It means Ontarians will still have access to their medications and essential products. It means the power will still stay on and telecommunications will continue to run. But it also means that every Ontarian must do their part. If you can, please stay home. Only leave if necessary. To all the snowbirds and Canadians returning home from abroad, you must self-isolate. I repeat, you must self-isolate. The health of your friends, your children, and your grandparents depend on this. You and every Ontarian must do their part. Some people will ask why, or why now? The answer is clear. We must get ahead of this virus to beat this virus. We must slow the spread and flatten the curve. We've seen global economies grind to a halt. We've seen healthcare systems overwhelmed. And we've seen heartache and loss. And we've seen countries lose this battle. Well, I'll tell you, we in Ontario will not follow in those footsteps. We will not lose this battle. We will get ahead of this for the health and safety of all Ontarians, for the future of our children, for those entering their silver years and ready to enjoy retirement. We must get ahead of this, and we will get ahead of this.
The Dollarama made barriers of what looked like saran wrap. The security guard told me that the hand sanitizer was water mixed with a bit of bleach. Then they installed self-checkout machines, which we all had to touch.
Thank you for shopping at Dollarama. Thank you for shopping at Dollarama. Thank you for shopping at Dollarama. Thank you for shopping at Dollarama.
And there was rarely a human cashier. By December, 9 months into COVID life, they had ordinary hand sanitizer. My research ethics are on hold and I can't recruit anyone new. I live where I'm supposed to be doing research on daily life, and my own daily life happens and it can't be put on hold. I'm eating a chicken shawarma sandwich inside at Alexander's when I first hear coronavirus get called COVID-19 on CP24 News. What kind of research can I do out there? I walk every day and document objects, sounds, and events. As I move my researching body, I become the subject of my own ethnography and my embeddedness in both the absence and presence created by COVID. Pete's Corner Grill will become Dave's Hot Chicken by January 2021, the LA-based fried chicken chain's first foray into the Canadian market. Pete's was an institution, and its closing marked a key moment in Parkdale's ongoing gentrification.
Okay.
Shot in October 2020, these scenes are part of collaborative ethnographic fiction filmmaking I did with David Ross, my friend and primary participant, who I met prior to COVID. In the film, I play an anthropologist studying Parkdale, who David's character, Dr. Carlos Popper, feels threatened by as the neighborhood's lead thinker. Though not intended for the present purpose, the scenes illustrate in a novel way my actual mode of doing research of place outside, minus the latex gloves and the overstated use of the notepad. These are gestures in the film that parody the performing of my autoethnographic self. It's David's voice you hear behind the camera.
Oh, nice graffiti there. All right, good background. Good. Ha. All right, zooming in on this. Okay. Got it. Okay. Good. Okay, I got you here. Okay, let me go in on this. Oh, yes. Yes.
Knowledge, consciousness, and spatial practice may thus all be seen to share the center.
Excellent.
There is no reality without a concentration of energy, without a focus or core, nor therefore without the dialectic. Center, periphery, condensation, radiation. What is the subject? A momentary center. The object, likewise. The body, a focusing of active, productive energies. Henri Lefebvre, the production of space. This is my researching body, a center of energies, a multisensorial, mobile data collection apparatus.
Okay, I'm going to try to be writing. Or pseudo-writing, whatever.
I walk like Benjamin's flounder, according to Tim Ingold, the detective, eyes and ears open and alert to any fortuitous but revealing incident.
There we go.
No one can tell me what I can be. It's up to me what I want. I can let life slip by me. Alright, what I I could do. I can do what I want to. Alright, give me life. It's what I want to.
Residents of Parkdale point to joggers on the sidewalk as a prime example of gentrification and complain about them on the neighborhood's Facebook. The singing man walks by and I say nothing. Instead, I stop to take note of a discarded meal. In March 2020, Doug Ford introduced an eviction ban and closed the landlord and tenant board. In July, he introduced Bill 184 that expedited the eviction process. By early December, there were 2,000 online eviction hearings being processed in a single week, some hearings lasting less than a minute. When I started my research on the everyday in Parkdale, the closest cannabis store was 3 kilometers outside the neighborhood. When I left the neighborhood, there were 8 stores within Parkdale alone. Other than cannabis shops, there was an increase in fried chicken restaurants and vintage clothing stores. If there is a correlation between consumer habits and commercial spaces, then I argue that there is the emergence of a formal stoner culture. People get high, eat fried chicken, and wear old clothes. I walk in a constant loop, a psychogeographic wander in the same place, over and over and over and over, enchanted by something new or the same thing each time. This is the second time I've put a boot on a pole. I did this before, but David forgot to press record, so we did it again. These boots mark my ethnographic presence. A film crew had been here, shooting a Disney production called Sneakers, reimagining Cinderella in New York. The crew had transformed the alley, even bringing in temporary graffitied walls. This sticker is all that remains of their presence. My body, the researching apparatus, and my ethnographic self turn affect into data. As a kind of archaeology of the present, I encounter things and not people. I use my hands, feet, and senses to learn my environment, not my voice in conversation. My objects are the discarded, riffing on Baudelaire's observations in Paris of the rag picker's bounty, the jumbled vomit of Paris, or for me, Parkdale. Desserteau sees walking as a space of enunciation, as an utterance, a calling forth. He writes, quote, "Walking affirms, suspects, tries out, transgresses, respects, etc., the trajectories it speaks. All the modalities sing a part in this chorus, changing from step to step, stepping in through proportions, sequences, and intensities, which vary according to the time, the path taken, and the walker. These enunciatory operations are of an unlimited diversity." According to Toronto Public Health, fatal suspected opioid overdose calls to paramedics were 90% higher in 2020 than in 2019, as the opioid poisoning crisis intensified during the COVID-19 pandemic. Now I stop the research and the documentation and no longer translate the affective place into data. I have to think and reflect and translate this walk and the things encountered into text. I must remove this researching body from its site, put it to rest. As I remove myself, so too does the text remove itself from where the energy comes forth. Tomorrow I'll do the same thing in the same place. Between the streets that demarcate the borders of Parkdale, I'll wander around, making up my research as my body goes, thinking with Deleuze regarding affectio and the modified and modifying body. Mine will be the modified body of the daily horizon of this place, its objects, its sounds, its surfaces.